So a very professional win and performance by Geelong, but there's a big discussion now around North Melbourne because I don't think many saw that sort of margin coming, 101.
No, this would be an awful place to be at the moment, and it's a tough one because when you watch them play, it's kind of difficult to work out what they're trying to execute. Are they handballing when the options are available and then run and gun, or is it take territory and get numbers to drop of ball? Is it a mix of both? I don't know what they're doing defensively. That's just not working at all. 40 scores tonight. And if you look at the intercept game, so the AFL average is about 65. You win it back 65 times and you score about 50 points. Tonight the Cats won it back. They scored from 58 intercepts, 27 scores. They just smashed them. They walked through them. The amount of times Jeremy Cameron was out the back by himself. Yeah. And it'd be uncontested possession, goal. And I just don't know. I'd love to ask Alistair Clarkson, what are you trying to achieve? Show us what it should look like, and then we can at least enjoy the ride. Because you just go for week on week where you don't see it. Now, we have seen it in patches through the year, but we're not seeing it now. So they're not getting younger. I mean, I know the Ruckman's not there, I know Nick Larkey's not there, but that shouldn't have as big an effect as what it does on their ability to stop the opposition moving the ball full length to the ground.
So, big picture for a second, Kingy. Have you lost faith? You think North Melbourne fans are losing faith in the direction? This is Alistair Clarkson's third year. They've had 6 years of top picks. At what point do we start to seriously question where this club is going? I know they drew with Brisbane mid-year, but surely fans thought these sorts of deplorable losses are behind them. When does it really get turned up, that pressure?
Yeah, it's a great question that's hard to answer. I think you have a blind faith in the club that the decision makers will get it right.
It feels like it's meandering along.
Yeah, and that's the reality. I think most Kangaroo fans would feel the same thing. And words are cheap. It's really hard to just listen to the same conversation over and over and over. So it's a tough place to be. There's no doubt about that. But Alistair Clarkson's here to get him out of the doldrums. So what are we, third year in? I wonder, Penny for his thoughts, his true thoughts. Is he able to do what he once thought he could do with this group? Are there any doubts there? Because
doubts in himself.
Yeah, you'd have to have it, wouldn't you? I mean, if you put yourself in his situation and you walk off the ground again tonight, you have to doubt your own plan. You've got Darling and Parker to the club, and Daniel to try and stiffen up with a bit of seniority. That doesn't look like it's working as well as it probably should.
There's 8 top 12 draft picks, 9 if you include Will Phillips, who was an emergency. Just a third of the team are top 10 picks.
I'm not worried about the talent, I'm worried about the system.
Yeah. Particularly defensively, right? Because there were times where the Cats, like a knife through butter, it was easy. And that's that defensive system that they've been training and trialling and practising for 3 years. That was cut apart tonight, easier than we've ever seen.
They're not trialling a defensive system. Charlie Common's their best key back, and he plays forward again tonight and is irrelevant for 3/4 of the game.
Is that
You've got Jeremy Cameron playing at the other end of the ground, kicking 11 goals.
It's one of the most mystifying.
Clear matchups. Clear match. If you've got a good key back, and we've seen this with Sydney at the start of the year.
It's not one man.
But it's a piece of the puzzle.
I understand the discussion, but it's not one man. And they've taken the ball from D50 to forward 50 46% of the time. You normally go at about 1 in, 5? They're going at 1 in 2. From the halfback, 80% of the time. So Geelong got the footy and it's going full length of the ground wherever they win it. And they're having a shot at goal. So that to me is not a one-man problem. That's a systematic issue that either they can't execute what's being asked or they refuse to.
Their skills at the moment are just nowhere near AFL standard. The amount of turnovers, and I nearly put it down to not just, look, they're players that can kick the football and handball the football. You don't end up on an AFL list if you can't do that. But I put it down to care. There is lackadaisical errors where they just look like, oh, well, there's the option, I'm just going to kick it and I miss it by 5 metres. And that is soul-destroying as a player when that happens on the ground, and then it results in, like tonight, you're beaten by 100 points. And I've been there, I'm sure no doubt you've been there, King, as well. You get beat by... This is where players look within. You're like, why is this happening again and again and again.
Well, they've been broken many times over. I mean, you wonder whether the team's going forwards or backwards. That's hard to distinguish at the moment. This is a worse loss than Eston's performance last night. And you think, well, they've got to make changes at the end of the year, surely. There has to be some sort of change, whether it's around Clark, if he's the man, there has to be pieces. Like, it just feels like this rebuild.
What, do you think there could be questions about his position at the end of the season?
Clarko? Well, he's year 3 into a 5-year deal. So I'd be surprised, but I think they've got to do a better job of the talent they've got and then the system that they've been working for 3 years. You know, this is not a new thing.
Again, I'll say it's not a talent issue. This is a system problem. So this, you can be really brutal and say it's coaching, right? But it's also performance of that system. So where's the disconnect? Are the players not understanding? Are they not prepared to work hard enough to ensure the system works? Or I think they're good enough. And I don't think they're that young that they can't compete defensively. Like, that's not really a talent issue.
So where do you think the breakdown is?
Well, I don't...
Could you put your finger on it?
Well, I don't know.
You're a North Melbourne man. You love this club.
Mate, I love the club, but I'm the same as all those people in the room, and I'm the same as all those watching on. I don't understand the system because I see so many flaws in it and so many holes in it.
You don't know the brand. You don't know what they're trying.
I don't see it. It's not consistent enough to say this is their identifiable brand. And I think when you see 150 points against, I even think they'd say, well, you wouldn't have been able to see it tonight.
Well, you couldn't see any pattern of play that would go, that even looked like replicating over the 120 minutes to go. Well, at least they're trying to play fast football that takes it around the opposition defence, or they're trying to get a handball game up and going from half back, or they're going to kick it long down the line and get numbers to the contest. There is no patterns of play at the moment that you would go, that is a North Melbourne brand of football. And I'm only talking about offence there. The defensive side is a whole nother kettle of fish.
There's a fair bit of talent involved in the offence stuff. I get that, right? And clearly it's a lot easier if you've got Jeremy Cameron and Patrick Dangerfield and Bailey Smith and Holmes. But defensively, I don't think it relies as heavily on talent as it does structure and a team-first buy-in.
Well, then, are you backing Clarko in next year?
Well,
You're a great of this football club.
I just think the only one that can answer this is Alistair Clarkson, truthfully. It's easy for us to pick him apart from the outside, but he would know if his plan is being absolutely bought into by the group. And outside looking in, it's hard to say that. It's hard to say it is or it isn't. So it's a tough one to answer. The only way he's not there is if he puts his hand up himself and says, you know what, I thought I could do this and it hasn't panned out that way and I'm stepping aside. That would be the only way he's not there.
It's hard to see that happening.
Yeah, very difficult to see. And fundamentally, I don't want him to do that. But I want to see him get it right.
We're about to hear from Jai Simpkin. He's going to speak with Cam Mooney, so very generous of him to give us his time following such a heavy loss, 101 points at the margin tonight. It'd be interesting, you've seen that vision of the players walking off and you could see Luke Parker's face and how frustrated he was. And you're talking about what are you trying to achieve here, Clarko? It'd be interesting to get the thoughts of a player like Luke Parker, who's had so much success. He's come from such a professional club in the Sydney Swans, to see what he's thinking.
Yeah, but
how he's interpreting.
Yeah, in a one-off game, he was part of the problem tonight. So he's had 30 touches, but I reckon he would have had a dozen turnovers. Like he made poor choices tonight. Now this is not a Luke Parker bashing session. He's at the closer to the end than the start of his career, and he's here to be a role model preparer and to be honest with the youngsters. But he was part of the problem tonight with the ball movement stuff, Jack. So I'm with you on that. But again, I'm not worried about the offensive ball movement. I'm worried about being able to stop the opposition when they've got the ball and being hard to play against. You get a player kick 11 goal. Like, Danger's having a joke with us after the game. But there's no way they could walk off the field and say, we respect what we played tonight. They just couldn't do that.